Even after 64 years of independence, has Malaysian politics truly matured? In fact, do our politicians possess the right characteristics to lead the nation, and have they made changes for our country? Given Malaysia's current state of affairs, it is evident that our politicians are using racial and religious rhetoric to mask their incompetence by creating news headlines for all the wrong reasons. Behind the facade of parliamentary democracy lies the use of violence in the form of threats, coercion, intimidation, and physical assault, which are funded at the highest levels. The division between politics and gangsterism in the country is demarcated by such a thin line that we need to ask, are politicians the catalyst for extreme violence in Malaysia?
I think to say cause is quite simplistic because we must first analyze what is the cause of violence. Definitely we've seen in many situations we have political parties or politicians exploit on certain contradiction in the society that to their advantage, and sometimes to the extent of trying to stir out violence.
If you ask me this question, I would definitely say yes. Politicians does contribute a certain level. They have their contribution towards violent crime.
Mereka mungkin tidak secara direct menyebabkan keganasan. Maksudnya ahli politik kat Malaysia ni tak adalah sampai kita kata mereka menyuruh atau memanggil, menggesa orang untuk melakukan keganasan terhadap seteru politik mereka. Tetapi saya percaya mereka sesetengah ahli politik ada menyumbang kepada situasi di mana terdapatnya orang yang merasakan mereka harus melakukan sesuatu yang ganas.
The gangsterism, why comes into politics? Why comes to politics? It is not purposely actually. You see, earlier it was more on the protection, but today is more like gaining power. But there are two types of gangsterism we can see, like a violence. Gangsterism they call unlicensed bodyguards lah.
Maknanya mereka menyumbang kepada satu situasi yang mendorong kepada keganasan.
We have very evident case, which is the murder of Adun back in Negeri Sembilan back in 1982 by UMNO minister, a sitting minister and member of parliament. His name was Dato' Mokhtar Hashim. Eventually, the case went for trial and he was convicted. He was sentenced for hang, and the sentence was changed to life imprisonment. And later he was given pardon back in 1991.
Kalau kita ingat beberapa tak lama dahululah, beberapa minggu lepas ataupun bulan lepas, kita ada dengar daripada berita laporan mengenai satu percubaan membunuh terhadap beberapa mantan pemimpin negara, iaitu Tun Mahathir, Lim Guan Eng, Datuk Mujahid Rawa dan juga mantan AG Tommy Thomas, dan percubaan ini dipatahkan oleh cawangan E8 Counterterrorism dan ianya baru didedahkan. Dan kita lihat walaupun ini satu mungkin kita boleh kata isolated incident,
we have some other cases as well, similar cases like the murder of Dr. Joe Fernandez in Lunas, who was a sitting Adun State Assembly person. The other murder of Dato' Krishnamurti in Johor, who was shot dead in his office. So we have, although these two murders, the murder of Dr. Joe Fernandez and Dato' Krishnamurti, although it was not clearly proven that it was because of political motive, but there are speculation that it was because of political reasons.
They are too emo, and sometimes you see like some of the politicians they go for ceramah in open. Some of the voter, they say they are like they become very emotional. They become violent at one time. And we can't blame police also. Okay? So this is where the unlicensed bodyguards comes in, so-called gangsters, to protect the politician. So we can't blame anybody here.
We shouldn't be too naive to deny the fact there are people, there are politicians who somehow, engage or rather have kind of this underground stuff,
So it is quite evident, if you ask me, quite evident that there are politicians who contribute certain extent of violent crime.
Tak, dia macam ni sebab keganasan ni, the violence start from where? You know the violence start from politician by self. Okay, if you look at PRU 14, how Pakatan Harapan, they provoke the voter, they create a sentiment, the hatred sentiment towards Barisan Nasional supporters. How they did it? Perompak lah, they stealing our money. You know, like, okay, how modus operandi, DAP, you know, how they provoke people, they will ask the voter, do you know why you are poor? Because you are paying GST. You know why you are poor? Because Najib is stealing the money. You know why you are not afford to buy a house? Because UMNO is curi duit.
Dan satu lagi golongan yang B40 ni, yang pendapatan di bawah ni, kira orang biasa, marahin. Dan golongan inilah yang dieksploit oleh parti-parti politik untuk dijadikan bahan modal perjuangan parti politik masing-masing.
So this kind of hatred speech coming out from the leader, it turned out to be violence. The violence turned out to be gangsterism. Actually, it is a politician who creating the gangsters actually. The politician, the one who creating and making gangsters by this kind of speeches. Why you are poor, BN stole your money, why you are poor, GST is there. Provoking.
This situation, if there are political forces or politicians keep reinforcing that certain group of people, be it Jews or Christian or Muslim, are the source of their own frustration, then this can also be a triggering point.
When you get provoked, especially someone, a jobless, how he will feel? He get angry. So the anger turns out to be violence, the violence turns out to be gangsters. It's there. But to stop this, the politicians have to stop provoking. Very simple. You want to have a peaceful country? Stop provoking. Stop hasut rakyat. Stop make them to tell them, oh you poor, dia curi duit, ini. Stop that. So I think we can have a peaceful country. That's it.